Imagine you're on the last morning of your dream Caribbean vacation. The sun's warm, the ocean's sparkling, and you've spent the whole week lounging in your favorite shady spot. Then, out of nowhere, another couple swoops in, dumps their stuff on your chairs, and claims it like they own the beach. That's what happened to me and my wife. But by the time we checked out, they learned that karma doesn't take vacations. If you've ever had someone steal something small but deeply personal, your seat, your parking spot, or even your peace, smash that like button, because this story is about the sweetest, most satisfying beachside revenge you'll ever hear. It was the kind of vacation you dream about when you're staring at spreadsheets in a freezing office. My wife and I had booked a week at a small Caribbean resort. Quiet, laid back, with a beach that looked like it belonged in a screensaver. No crowds, no noise, just turquoise water, palm trees swaying, and a bar close enough to reach without breaking a sweat. By the second day, we'd found our spot. 2 wooden loungers under a wide palm tree, a perfect balance of shade and sun. It wasn't fancy, just 2 chairs and a view, but it felt like ours. Every morning, we'd walk down after breakfast, set out our towels, order a couple of tropical drinks, and just exist. You know that feeling when you finally stop thinking? That's what that spot gave us. Around midweek, a new couple arrived, maybe late 30s, stylish but smug. You could tell they were the type who always needed attention. The woman had that resting smirk that said, "I'm better than you, but I won't say it out loud," and the guy wore expensive sunglasses, indoors, outdoors, probably even in the shower. At first, they didn't bother us. They'd stroll by, glance our way, whisper something, and laugh. My wife caught them doing it several times. "They keep looking over here," she said one afternoon, lowering her sunglasses. "I swear they're eyeing our spot." I laughed it off. "It's a beach, honey. There's plenty of sand to go around." Famous last words. It was our last full morning before flying home. We slept in a little, planning to enjoy one final lazy day in our spot. But when we came down to the beach, my stomach dropped. There they were, our loungers, already claimed. 2 bright towels, a couple of magazines, and a half-empty bottle of sunscreen were neatly placed across both chairs. But there was no one in sight. They had literally dumped their stuff and disappeared. The resort wasn't crowded. There were dozens of empty loungers, but they chose ours. My wife looked at me, furious but trying to stay calm. "You think it's them?" "Oh, it's them," I said, looking around. "Who else would pull something like this?" We waited. 10 minutes, then 30, then an hour, still no sign of them. The sun was climbing and every decent shady spot was taken. Eventually, we gave up and found 2 loungers farther down the beach, out in the open sun, far from the bar, and definitely not our cozy little paradise. It felt petty to be upset about chairs, but that spot had become part of our daily rhythm. Losing it, especially to them, stung more than it should have. Around noon, I saw them finally stroll in, laughing, carefree, not even pretending to rush. They looked right at me, saw me sitting under the burning sun, and smirked. The guy whispered something to his girlfriend, and they both laughed again. That's when I knew. It wasn't coincidence. They did it on purpose. Later that afternoon, my wife was floating in the shallow water, sunglasses on, just watching people. I saw her freeze, then stand up halfway. She waved me over. "They just walked by and looked at you," she said, and laughed. Again, like they're proud of it. That was the last straw. For most of the trip, we'd been relaxed, polite, the quiet, friendly tourists. But something in me shifted. You can insult me, but you don't mess with my wife's peace. We only had 1 more day left before flying home. But that was enough time to make a point. That night, while packing up our things, I looked at the half-empty bottle of sunscreen, 2 folded towels, and our inflatable pool floats, still wet from the ocean. And then it hit me. I looked at my wife. "What time do they usually come down to the beach?" She smiled slowly. "Late morning, like noon." Perfect. We hatched our plan. Operation Petty Paradise. The next morning, before dawn, we woke up quietly. The beach was completely empty, soft orange sunrise over calm waves. I carried our towels, suntan lotion, and floats down to the same loungers they had stolen. We set everything up perfectly. Fresh, neatly folded towels, lotion placed exactly in the middle, floats resting at the edge, as if waiting for someone to come back. The loungers looked claimed, but this time the owners weren't coming back. We went to have breakfast, took our time packing, and left for the airport around mid-morning, just as the other couple usually arrived at the beach. I didn't see their reaction firsthand, but I can imagine it. Them walking down, spotting their favorite spot, and realizing it had been taken. Not just taken exactly the way they'd stolen it. In my mind, I can picture it vividly. The woman, hands on her hips, glaring at the loungers. The man muttering, "Who the hell took our spot?" They'd wait 10 minutes, then 20, then an hour, because that's what they'd done to us. Except now, no one was coming back. Every time someone walked by, they'd probably sit up, trying to look casual, pretending they weren't waiting for the owners to move their stuff. The tropical sun would creep higher, the shade would shift away, and they'd start sweating. Maybe the guy would finally give up, toss the towel aside, and stomp off to find another spot, the one we'd used the day before. And in that moment, I hope they realized, karma's got excellent timing. Was it childish? Maybe. But sometimes revenge doesn't have to be dramatic or cruel. It just has to restore balance. We didn't yell, didn't complain, didn't make a scene. We just gave them the same quiet inconvenience they'd handed us with a smile. When we got home, I couldn't stop laughing about it. My wife called it the most polite revenge ever. She's right. It wasn't about the chairs. It was about respect. People like that, the ones who think they're above others, they never expect you to push back. That's what makes it so satisfying when you finally do. I never saw their reaction, but I didn't need to. Sometimes the best revenge is imagining the look on their faces when karma shows up wearing your sunglasses. And somewhere in the Caribbean, I like to think those two loungers are still haunted. Not by ghosts, but by the memory of two tourists who learned that even on vacation you can't steal someone's peace and get away with it. At the end of the day, it wasn't about winning. It was about letting go without feeling powerless. If you've ever had someone take advantage of your kindness, remember, you don't always need to fight loud. Sometimes the quietest revenge hits the hardest. If this story gave you that warm justice-served feeling, hit the like button and subscribe for more Reddit revenge stories just like this. Tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest but most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled off? And until next time, remember, karma may take her time, but she always packs a suitcase.